if I could deport Liz Cheney, exile her to a fucking faraway island, and save 20 million migrants from mass deportation, you think I wouldn't do that in a fucking heartbeat? Get out of here.
2016, the leaders and heroes of the Republican Party were the Bush and Cheney families. And is it weird for you to
Yo, the lag kind of making it hard to watch? What lag, brother?
see Liz Cheney, that'd be Dick Cheney's repulsive little daughter, running against you with Kamala Harris?
Well, I think it hurts Kamala a lot, actually. Look, she's a deranged person. The reason she doesn't like me is that she wanted to stay in Iraq. She wanted to stay. She wants to, you know, tough person. You know, people get killed all over. She's real tough, right? They're not the tough people. Don't forget, I went against her, and in her state, which is a great, beautiful state, she lost for Congress with the highest number in history. There has never been a congressperson that lost by almost 40 points. And the reason is because if they were ever in that situation, they'd quit. And she lost. She was beaten by a tremendous person, actually, tremendous, that I backed fully. But the reason she couldn't stand me is that she always wanted to go to war with people. I don't want to go to war. She wanted to stay in Syria. I took them out. She wanted to stay in Iraq. I took them out. I mean, if it were up to her, we'd be in 50 different countries. And, you know, number one, it's very dangerous. Number two, a lot of people get killed. And number three, I mean, it's very, very expensive. That's why we owe $36 trillion. We go, you know, it used to be you go to war to the victor belong the spoils, right? In other words, if you beat a country, you own that country, you take the oil. We go to war, we bomb the crap out of it, and then we leave. You know, it's almost like, what are we doing? What's going on? We bombed the whole Middle East, and then we left. What did we get? We got nothing. We destroyed. I mean, we bombed the hell out of everything. You know, when they took out Iraq for 1,000 years with different names, you had Iran and Iraq, similar powers. They were the two big ones. And for 1,000 years, they would fight each other this way, this way, this way, then they'd rest. This way, then they'd rest.
I think it's wild that Trump nails the exact, like, dumb American guy's attitude about being anti-war, by the way, because he's like, you know, if you're going to go to war, you might as well steal all the resources, which we do, by the way, but Americans don't understand it, and they don't actually see the immediate benefit, the immediate material benefit of it, because, like, it's either going to the black budgets of the CIA in the terms of, like, the poppy fields in Afghanistan, or it's going to, you know, Western oil oil refiners, like the oil giants in the West, and that's not directly going into, like, American coffers, right? So, yeah, we do extract the loot. It's just, like, privatized. But that right there is, like, a perfect way to claim anti-war. We're just bombing the Middle East and not even taking the loot. In terms of Liz Cheney, he's right. I'm actually going to point out once again how bad Trump has been in comparison to 2016, because the moment that Kamala Harris was like, oh, Liz Cheney is my GOAT, he should have been saying this. He should have been like, nonstop at every fucking rally, be like, Liz Cheney sucks. She wants to do endless war. I'm the peaceful candidate. I said it back then. I was like, this gives an incredible opening to the Republicans to present themselves once again as the anti-war candidates, even though, you know, it's a lie. A friend brought this up to me, and I've never thought about it because I haven't seen any unclassified evidence for it. But do you think the part of the reason why we invaded Afghanistan and Iraq were because they're the countries directly the east and west of Iran, and the State Department wanted to invade Iran down the line? I mean, in theory, yes, that is absolutely true. That was the neocon pipe dream, which is like full-scale invasion of... But Iraq was oil, for the record. It was far before anything else. Like, Dick Cheney wanted to invade Iraq and take the sweet, juicy oil. But as far as, like, Iran, yes, destabilizing or maybe even full tilt invading Iran was always also for oil, and has always been like the final crowning achievement of the neocons. That's why we say that Kamala Harris did not have to give any concessions to get Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney on board, because like this current Democratic administration is basically achieving that agenda, the dream of like active conflict with Iran. Anyway, can you give me counterpoints to use against my dad? His one issue is foreign policy. He believes Donald Trump is a peaceful dove type. Ask him why he destroyed the Iran denuclearization agreement, to which he's going to say, oh, but because it was bad. It was bad. Iran was supporting terrorism in the region. Yeah, except the best possible pathway forward was normalizing relations with Iran, which Donald Trump fucking destroyed. It wasn't even a deal that America had put together by themselves, by the way. It was like multiple countries were involved in this deal. It took years and years to get to this point. It was probably the signature achievement towards having like better relations with Iran in general in the region. And Donald Trump cast it aside. He did the Abraham Accords, which again sidestepped the Palestinians and made them realize understandably that they were not a part of this process whatsoever. So as the Israeli occupation continued and greatly accelerated under the Trump administration, October 7 became an inevitability. Donald Trump has played a massive role in October 7. Joe Biden has played a big role in October 7 as well. In the buildup to October 7, he could have changed American foreign policy trajectory, but he did not.
They were a self-check. Then one day we go in and bomb the hell out of one, we destroy one, and then all of a sudden Iran has the whole Middle East to itself. And by the way, right now Iran has Iraq. Iraq is like a subsidiary of Iran, all right? We did so many bad moves, and her father was it. You know, her father was, I was very critical of her father for years. I'd never met him, but I'd say anybody that went into the Middle East I thought was stupid. And they say, convinced Bush. Bush, oh, he was another beauty. But he supposedly convinced Bush to go in, him, Bolton, and some other lightweights, convinced them to go in. Let's go into the Middle East and destroy the whole place and kill millions of people. So they went in. But I was never a fan of Cheney. I was always very critical. And when I announced that, I was very critical, actually, not personally, but I said, he made a horrible mistake. What are these people doing? We spent.
Despite the fact that war and Cheneys are evil, does Trump making the argument that Liz Cheney should be shot by a firing squad give you the slightest pause? No, I think the Trump statements about the enemy from within and how he's going to stick the military on them is significantly worse. I think the argument that he was presenting about Liz Cheney here is a classic 2016 era Trump, where there's like a level of plausible deniability where he's like invoking a firing squad when he's describing something else. He's saying that like Liz Cheney and those others aren't brave. Our soldiers, our military members are actually brave. Liz Cheney would be, Liz Cheney doesn't know what it's like to be in the crosshairs. Like she doesn't know what it's like to be deployed, which Trump doesn't either, by the way. He's a fucking draft dodger. But like, the argument there is not about like, putting Liz Cheney in front of a firing squad and killing her. What he's obviously contextually trying to say is that like, Liz Cheney would be singing a different tune if she actually was personally involved, as in if she actually was forced to, serve in the military. He was trying to say politicians should serve in the front lines. Exactly. And he phrased it in a weird way. And I think the deliberate way he phrased it, he weirdly phrased it on purpose so that he could have like discourse run amok about how you say draft dodger, like that's not base. No, it is. It's the best thing he's ever done.
9 trillion with a T, not even with a B. Normally I say not million, billion, but now I say not billion, trillion. We spent $9 trillion bombing the hell out of the Middle East. And what the hell did we get other than lots of dead people, all, including our people? We got nothing. So I was very critical of him. And then I announced I was running, and I was shocked that he was one of the first people. He endorsed me immediately. I said, that's amazing. But he had something that was very interesting. He had Scooter Libby. I mean, these are little stories that are interesting. Scooter Libby was a man that could have done great destruction to Bush, and they left him behind. He was given to the
like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Zach Beauchamp is right. Folks, Trump didn't threaten to execute Liz Cheney. He actually was calling her a chicken hawk, something liberals have said about her for ages. Look at the context. Trump is talking about giving her a weapon. Typically, people put in front of firing squads aren't armed. What is a 9-barrel comment for it if not a nod at a firing squad? You sound like such a jackass. The simple thing that candidates shouldn't graphically fantasize about opponents getting shot in the face, regardless of whether larger context or the point they're making is not complicated. Matthew Dowd, Lord have mercy. You know exactly what Trump meant and what he has said previously. Just stop. Yeah, I don't really care. Like, it's obvious that he phrased it like an insane person because he probably does fantasize about Liz Cheney getting shot in the fucking mouth in a firing squad style situation. It's also very obvious that within the context of that conversation, he's saying that she is a chicken hawk. Yeah, liberals getting mad at this is so fucking stupid because Liz Cheney is a goddamn demon, okay? And so is Dick Cheney. Like, what the fuck are we doing? We're defending Liz Cheney's honor now. You might be this stupid. I mean, presumably you chose the avatar photo, but the rest of us are not. He wants her shot because she crossed him. When you cross him, he'll want you shot. This is how insane dictators work, but don't worry about enabling him. Well, we're well actuallying him. No, I just don't give a shit. I don't give a shit at all. Because Donald Trump has used so much violent rhetoric. This is another one of those instances. And also, I think like Dick Cheney being shot for treason or whatever the fuck this dipshit is fantasizing about is like the least consequential violent thing he's said. Like, does that make sense? Like, this motherfucker talks about rounding up every single brown person, dude, and putting him in concentration camps. Like, you think I give a fuck about Liz Cheney? If I could deport Liz Cheney, exile her to a fucking faraway island, and save 20 million migrants from mass deportation, you think I wouldn't do that in a fucking heartbeat? Get out of here. The port list has tripled. I'm at 3 now. I'm kidding. I don't think anyone should be deported. Maybe Elon Musk.
Prosecutors, they prosecuted him rather violently, and he was almost like a sacrificial lamb. And as somebody that knows a lot about what's happening, I said, you know, if I were ever president, I'd do something with that guy. That guy got treated very badly, Scooter Libby. And when I became president, I actually called Dick Cheney. I said, let me ask you about Scooter Libby. He was best friends. He was begging Bush to give Scooter Libby a pardon, but Bush didn't have the courage to do it. You know, it takes courage to give a pardon. It does take a certain courage because the press comes after, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And he didn't have the courage to give him, he should have given him a pardon, but he didn't have the guts to do it. But Scooter, and what happened is Dick Cheney, for years, for a long time, hated Bush. And don't let anyone tell you, he hated. He said, you don't leave your wounded behind. And I understand that. And Scooter Libby really saved Bush because he could have said things that would have been very dangerous for Bush in terms of getting impeached, in terms of going to jail, in terms of bad things happening. But Scooter Libby didn't do that. And in all fairness to Cheney, I give him credit for this. He was very loyal to him, but he couldn't get Bush to do what he should have done. I came into government, and I did what they should have done. They didn't have the guts to do it. I did it. And Scooter Libby was pardoned. I gave him a pardon. And I never met Scooter Libby, by the way. Never talked to him before that. And I got a call from Scooter Libby after I did that. And he broke down in tears, thanking me so much. And then Cheney called me, and he said, that was so incredible what you did for Scooter Libby, because he was really on Scooter Libby's.
Who gives a fuck about Scooter? Man, shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. Bragging about pardoning neocons, is this your king? Yeah, like, I don't give a fuck about no Scooter Libby, bitch. Shut the fuck up. Hey, if you like this video, please subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any future videos.